There we go. For son of a... Every single time. Remember to check it this time, so I didn't go through like a 10-minute diatribe with just silence. I'm getting better, folks. I'm getting better. 200 shows in. I'm learning. All right. Well, it's show 200. Isn't that great? I'd asked Boss Blunts to come on. I sent him a DM. I don't know if he's even seen it yet because I've got a new account and everything, and no one cares about that account. But if he stops by, maybe we'll see if we can have him, hang out. We can chit-chat, celebrate the 200th show. I wore fancy duds for today. We have Bella up here as our first representation of the cabinet rental. She's a viewer's puppy dog who passed away this summer, and so we're honoring her memory in with a beautiful picture. So there's Bella. She's a sweet dog. Yes, if you want to honor your pets, we'll throw them up here. They deserve it, right? Right. There's Bella. She's been looking over our shoulder all day today. Again, if you want to throw something up there, $50 for a show. We'll put whatever message you want up there, so long as it doesn't get me kicked off of YouTube. That's kind of the only rule I can think of. So I've got Fridays and Mondays booked for people who want to throw messages up there. It can be a silly joke. You can make your own picture, advertise your business, whatever. Right there. That's the Houston sponsorship channel on the cabinet. I got a little magnet. I put magnetic tape up there. Jersey gave me all the brilliant ideas. Thank you, Jersey. So I can put stuff up there for you. Okay. Well, we're ding. Well, lots happening in the world, right? We have World War III basically threatening to happen. Putin has decided he's going to make a false referendum declaring Eastern Ukraine part of Russia, so that if Ukraine goes to try and liberate their own country, Putin then says he can nuke people because they're invading his sovereign nation, as opposed to him actually invading a sovereign nation and then stealing it. There were rumors that Biden was going to ask for Russia to be removed from the Security Council. That did not materialize, although they should. The war is going to get worse. It is. They're doing a mass mobilization, calling up to 300,000 reservists. Basically, anyone who was ever conscripted is reservist up until they're age 65. So they're all getting hunted down and thrown in uniforms and sent to the front. It's going to get a lot messier, I think. Then we had... The market tried to dive real hard. The VIX shot up super fast, got frozen, and by the time they reopened, it plummeted back down again. Plunge protection team, I think, is at work, and rather than the market dropping 1,000 points like it should today, it only dropped 500. Well, interest rates are still crazy. The highest they've been since 2007, 2008, somewhere in there. We're looking at probably 7% or more for mortgages come next month. Right on track with the crystal ball prediction I made in the spring for 6-7% by September, October. So that's where we're going. Yeah. Chakuseki, will Putin fall from a window? Probably. The thing is that if Putin goes, someone dumber is going to be in charge because he's killed everyone who's smart. Any mafia person who's as smart as Putin or smarter has been dropped from windows or drank polonium or whatever. So, I don't know if you guys saw the failed assassination attempt in France of the exiled Russian oligarch, but he basically saw a laser dot and freaked out, and his team was able to capture the dude And yeah, so well, assassinations they're happening. They're everywhere. Shit's wild, man. Anything else to add, Monkey Butt? Aaron Judge is going for number 60 today, 61. Also, Friday is Snoopy's last show. He goes back to my sister on Saturday. So, Snoopy Dog, the floor beast. So he's only around for a little bit longer, and I can finally try to clear up as much of this hair as I can. Oh, so much hair. I need a new vacuum cleaner. The vacuum cleaner just can't. It's dead. It's done. It's dead. I probably just recarpet the house and go from there. Okay. Guitar stuff. Houston, congratulations on 200 shows. Soon you'll have just as many Twitter bans. You are a model niche internet celebrity. Happy birthday. My fish is still wearing a mattress. Thank you. Thank you. I'm working on as many Twitter bans as possible. Also, Wind Moon. Why does it rain? And will the squeeze still happen? Sooner than later. Warm air rises. Cools condenses rains. Yes. Mighty Mouse. Houston, do you think B-Big will do anything on his T plus 90 date? I mean, B-Big is so cheap. Will we notice? I mean, that's kind of like, will we know? It's the price is so suppressed right now. I don't even know if we'll notice. There hasn't been much, like, retail, I think, in large part kind of went, about the 20th time B-Big failed on delivering the Tide shares. And I don't know how much backing there is for them right now. So we may see a little blip, but I don't think it's going to be anything that makes us go, oh my. I think B-Big kind of ruined their shot at being a catalyst when they postponed for 8 months. And everyone was like, come on, do the thing you promised. And then they just couldn't, and they couldn't, and they couldn't, and they couldn't. And so, I don't know. The price just went from $14 to like 80 cents by the time they got around to doing it. That's not really the momentum you wanted going into their offshoot of Tide. So, I'm sure bigger news will be if TikTok ever gets like kicked out of the US. That'll probably be the big catalyst for B-Big at that point. Roger's son, happy 200, Houston. Don't get caught lacking on the intros. Oh shit, I forgot to turn off the intro. Thank you. Ha! No intro on show 200 for you. So you can all blame Proje's son because he reminded me with his tweet with his chat message. Fudge your teats off. Just came to say, hey Banks, all my money post Moas is being strategically buried in mattresses. Hopefully the mattresses your fish is wearing. Jamie Dimon told Congress that if restrictions, Dodd-Frank Phase 6, aren't loosened on banks, then they will have no choice but to start restricting their margin lending. Happy 200th. Oh no. Yeah, apparently JP Morgan has to come up with $200 billion in cash, basically as a rainy day fund for if their bets go wrong. And Jamie's like, no, don't make me do that. It's so sad. So sad, Jamie, that your giant investment bank can no longer wantonly lend money to short hedge funds so they can destroy the world economy. Oh no. Dan Margelot picked up some $1.50 calls on ACTV for 12.16 a couple of days for 5 cents. Let's effing go. Hopefully it still stays static by Friday, and maybe I might pick up a few bets on that. See where it goes. Also, I went to the post office. I got a bunch more, completely unrelated. Got a bunch more. I haven't even opened them yet. Envelopes with what I hope are self-addressed stamped envelopes inside, so I can send stickers. Reminder: I've got a few stickers left. If you have problem stickers, send them to the PO box in the description below. You get yourself a sticker. self-addressed stamped envelope, and I will get you a goofy sticker you can slap on something. Stick on something weird, like a shoe or a cousin. Okay. Anything else I gotta throw in there? Oh, and I forgot to mail the 2 that I have. So, I'm at the post office, but I forgot to bring the mail at the post office. Oops. So I'll go out with this whole bunch. Matt Everts used a nice shirt. If you're ever in Maryland, let me know. Let's eat some crabs. Man, I was supposed to go to Maryland in June for my cousin's wedding, and COVID. So that didn't happen. Yeah, I haven't been to Maryland in 20 years. So yeah, let's go eat some crabs. I like crabs. They're delicious. Yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum. I'm game for it, Matt Everts. I also want to go, well, if I go to DC, if I ever manage to get my act together and go to DC to do lobbying for retail investing, then, you know, Maryland's right there. So we can do that. Where am I? Julianne managed to sell a piece of property today that I was afraid I was going to get stuck with. Woohoo! Debating whether or not to buy No Labs now that it is no longer OTC. It is like a future investment. It's not a squeeze play or anything like that. It is a company that, you know, if they get the FDA approval, they are worth a boatload. So, you know, it's cheap, $2, $2 a share. Pick up a few. If they ever get to that $100 billion rate, let's see here. How many? 87 million, 90 million, something like that. Our calculator. Let's do some on-screen math, shall we? Because we love it. Google Earth, go away. Okay, so I got to look up. What's their? How many shares do they have? KNW shares outstanding. Market cap's 91 million right now. Come on, give me internet. It's $1.85. 91. Oh, why is the calculator not? Oh, because I turned it off. There we go. All right. So 91 million is a market cap. 1.8. Because everyone tell you actually how many shares are there in these things. You gotta do the math. So, okay, so there's 49 million shares, 50 million shares more or less. 50 million shares. Okay. Now, let's say they get to $100 billion valuation. Divide that by 50 million shares. That means each share that right now is $1.85 is worth $2,000. That's a pretty good run up. So if they get FDA approval, I foresee each one of those $1.85 shares right now being worth $2,000 each. It's not too shabby. I mean, that's type of thing where getting a leap for like 2024 might be a pretty good bet. So, not too shabby. Not too shabby indeed. Rock. See, no second intro. Did you see that? No second intro. On 200 show, no second intro. That's 5 shows in a row, I think we're at. We did all week last week. Boom, boom. So Friday, we can tie the record, get to 6 shows in a row, no double intro. We're going to start the next 200 shows off right and do it the way we should. Andrew Stewart, Houston, if Moas is out this week, I'll put a handful of gravel on my shoes. Okay. Put up or shut up there, Andrew. Vanilla Gorilla, can't wait until it changes his name to Houston. We don't have a problem. Chris R., thank you for the congratulations. Vanilla Gorilla, my brilliant son, asked me a question one day. He said, Dad, would you rather walk a mile over hot coals, glass, or Legos? I said Legos because I can make a pair of shoes out of them in the first step. Okay. Blew my kid's mind. Mario Valdez, Houston. My daughter was diagnosed with AHUS a little over a year ago at the age of 16. Do you think we can do a charity for her? Because sometime in the future, would be much appreciated. AHUS. Honestly, AHUS. Atypical HUS. I'm going to look this up. Uremic syndrome, a rare disease, causes tiny blood clots to form. Oh no! Oh, that's not good. Okay, we can do something for that. This Tuesdays is going to be a charity for Puerto Rico, but okay, maybe October. Does that work? I'll find an organization that does stuff for AHUS. Or someone that does rare diseases. This looks like a gnarly disease. I'm so sorry. Hope she does well and find out ways to keep her alive and thriving. Beach bum. After Moas, I'm maybe going to live here forever and ever. Where are we going? Somewhere somewhat tropical. Looks like Mexico? Southern Mexico? 151. No, that's way... Oh, it's South Pacific. South Pacific. Okay. I'll put Google Earth back up here. All right, which island are we on? Are we in Fiji? Where are we? I wasn't actually paying attention. Bora Bora. Yep. Tahiti. That wouldn't be so bad. Not so bad indeed. Trying to convince my dad to go to Tahiti in October. I think he'd like it. Tickets are really cheap right now. $600 round trip from Seattle. Go to Tahiti, rent a sailboat, island hop for a little bit. Seems like a pretty good plan to me. We'll see if we can get him on board with that. But if you are beach bum, as you claim you are, not such a bad place to go. My brother's been a bunch of times because he goes surfing at Chopo. He actually tried to start a clothing brand called Chopo with Raymana, who's like the local, who's a big surfer down there. But he kept taking other jobs and not be able to focus on it. So maybe his post-Moas thing will be he'll get Chopo surf brand up and running. Slayer J1. Houston, did you catch Webb's image of Neptune? Rings were clearly pronounced through infrared imaging. I've not seen it yet. Oh, there we go. That's pretty cool looking. No, don't go there. Images. Right, that's cool. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm doing because I'm an idiot and I keep forgetting to turn on the Chrome. I hate how like every episode I have to like selectively find Chrome. That's pretty cool looking. Look at that. That's an infrared. So that's false color. That's not what your eyeballs see. That's what you'd see if you were like, I don't know, look at an infrared, a bumblebee or something. Ants. Mantis shrimp. What else can probably see an infrared? Maybe a monkey butt. Can you see an infrared monkey butt? All you can see is a nap right now. I like it. Chad Clifford, Houston, happy 200th anniversary show. Question, where do you see Gmae as a company in 5 years? $10 billion a year company. Profitable. An evaluation sitting at $40 to $50 billion. That's where I see them in 5 years. I don't think the squeeze will take that long. I think the squeeze will have happened and gotten over with by then. They'll have plenty of marketing to go on. Their vision for redoing all their stores will have happened. And yeah, I think that's That seems possible. I think their online presence in gaming will be much more pronounced than it is right now. They'll be able to start to compete with other online retailers for gaming stuff. Yeah. So, I think it's very plausible. Grandpa Barney, happy 200. So I heard the ape can be delisted under $4 for 90 days because it's a preferred stock. Thoughts, my brother? Yeah. I got sent a note saying that if the hedge funds can push ape below $4 and it can stay there for 90 days, it can be delisted from the New York Stock Exchange. But they got to get it below $4 and keep it there for that long. And there's so many FTDs right now. I don't know if they can actually do that. There's what, like a couple $100 million in FTDs at the moment. No one has cash. I don't know where these hedge funds are getting cash to be able to make these plays, because the banks, like Jamie Dimon said, like if they are required to come up with capital requirements, they're not going to have any cash to give to their hedge funds. Oh no. So I don't know where they come up with the money to do any covering or closing of these things. So I think it's going to be really, really hard for them to suppress ape below $4 for 90 days straight, especially when they've got as many FTDs out there and our T plus 90s coming up in 2 months, where it's going to be forced buying like crazy. And by then, who cares what price it is after that? Because it'll go whoopah and then drop back down again once everything gets forced to close. Meow meow. Do you see that HKD might be a shell company of Citadel? No, that is new to me. I wouldn't doubt if Citadel is messing with this stuff, because it does have a whole ring of illegality to it. I mean, they spiked again, like to 80 something bucks today. They're just the most volatile stock out there. I really, 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 really wish there was an options chain to play with that volatility. But there's not, because no shares actually exist. It's all fake shares have been trading because HKD never delivered shares to the exchange. So, interesting. Hey, big dog. What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah? Oh, you big goofy dog. You big goofy dog. You're chasing flies earlier, having a very unsuccessful time eating them, but you wanted to. I commend the spirit, if not the fact that you're a goofy, uncoordinated beast. And Grab Barney, hey, boss man is in there. Oh, boss is here. Is he? Oh, there he is. Yeah, you want to come on, boss? I could set up I was hoping to have you on. We could chit chat. I can set up a Zoom, and I'll send it to you. One sec, if I can figure out how to open Zoom again. You won't be able to see me on your end because my camera can only work for one app at a time, but people will be able to see you. Come on, Zoom. We'll get this going here. We got Jimmy D in the house as well. Hello, Jimmy. Come on, Zoom. Open. Open. Yeah, go get him. The door opened downstairs, so obviously murder must happen. Big dog. Big dog. New meeting. Okay, one sec, boss. We'll get this set up here. It's very slow at starting everything. There we go. Okay. Get big. Participants. Invite. Okay. So, the copy invite link. This is the thing, is that I can't use my computer to get on Twitter, because then Twitter goes, oh, and then deletes my account. So what I have to do is I've got to email it to myself. So, email it to myself, shabam, send that. It goes to my phone, which is on a VPN, which I will then send to Boss Blunts via Twitter. And that's how we will get this sucker rolling. Okay. I gotta copy that link. Copy URL. Go to Twitter. All right, boss. Look in your DMs. It might be in your someone's waiting to talk to you DMs. I just sent you a link for the Zoom. Get the old ear holes going here. Means I have to turn on the sound for you guys. Bam. Not create a sound blaster. Not that. Where is my... Logitech. There we go. Okay, so that should work. Close that. Go there. Okay. So check that, boss, and hopefully we'll get that sucker going. In the meantime, until I see him blinging in the corner, we will continue on with what's in the chat here. Okay. Where was I in the chat? J-Dog saying, go Mariners. Go Mariners. Playoffs, baby. We're going to the playoffs finally after 21 years. Just from Dex, what would happen to the world economy if Putin actually used nukes? He keeps saying he's not bluffing about it. To zero? Putin used nukes. I think we would have a lot of bigger problems than worrying about the economy. It's going to be panic everywhere, and not the fun kind. So, yeah. David Wu, a little treat for your 200 show. DTCC issued final notice to Point72 run by Stephen Cohen to collect 90-day late payment. Link on Superstonk post below. One by one they shall fall. Okay. I know he was behind. I was just figuring that he's got to sell the Mets. And I think he was hoping to wait until the Mets got through the postseason before he had to put them up for fire sale. So, yeah, I did. Did it work? Boss, did you get it? Oh, he still hasn't seen it yet. Okay, well, hopefully he'll get through there. Yeah. So check. Okay. Cool. Jump on a couple minutes. Okay. I'll see you in a few minutes there, boss. This will be fun. Okay. 40-ounce Oracle. Houston, happy birthday. Today has to be your birthday. Should I quit my first shift job that requires weekend work for a mid-shift job that's Monday through Friday, everything else being equal? If you want to. I mean, do you want to have weekends off? It's nice to have weekends off and like to be able to see other people. As someone who worked in restaurants forever, not having weekends off really means you miss out on a lot of like things you and your friends can do together because they're working a Monday through Friday job. So, take that into consideration. Is it more money, less money, same money? What say you? You have a dreadlock under your ear and it is huge. It's a huge dreadlock that I'm holding on right now, like a bike handlebar. Weird dog. Citizen 54. Thoughts on Kenny wanting to join Treasury if DeSantis runs in 2024? Can they drag Moas that far? If so, what would be the consequences of Kenny being in charge of the Treasury? Man. Catastrophic. Self-aggrandizing. Self-enriching. Conflict of interesting. Ken Griffin being in charge of a branch of government or an agency that is very powerful would be so damaging. That is one reason right there she should go, maybe DeSantis is not the best guy to put into office. Also, something I just learned is that DeSantis isn't that much older than me. Like, we were playing college baseball at the same time. I thought that dude was at least like 15 years older than me. No. We were in school at the same time together. He just seems a lot older. So, take that into consideration. Michael Mystery, you'll look back when it's episode 2000, like, was 200 just yesterday? I know, they grow up so fast, don't they? Right, Big Dog? You'll be around for episode 201, and then Big Dog is gone. How many episodes were you in, Big Dog? You came, what, like March? What, 10th? Is that when you showed up? I forget what episodes were back then. You've been around for almost 100 episodes. Because I did my 100th episode while I was in Switzerland, right? I think it was while I was in Switzerland. Maybe it was around Christmas. I can't remember now. But, oh, who's that? Someone at the door again? I not your friend. Checking in from Wahoo. Hey, my man. Danjo the Banjo. Bought 200 ape last week and went down $1 per share. It never fails when I buy. Do you like ape or AMC more? I don't think it matters too much. I think if Adam Aaron doesn't dump a bunch of shares in the market, ape might be the first one to pop. But it'll bring up both because if you're short on one, you're short on the other. So it'll force closing of both positions at some point if the price gets too high. That's kind of what we're waiting for. So, yeah, I keep on the corner of my eye, keeping to wait to see if boss is popping up there. Prontal, happy 200 episodes milestone. May your technical glitches get rectified before MOS. I lost money after my weeklies went down to pennies, but your show always takes the pain away. You know, the weeklies are always like the biggest gamble you could possibly make. Unless you know that there's going to be one hell of a gamma, the weeklies are like, So we still have OPEX due, and we got triple witching on Friday. So let's see what happens. We might get a little pump. I was hoping we get a pump all week, but it's a little green on GME, just a pinch. But I want above 30 on Friday. Hopefully well above 30 on Friday. And we can get a little gamma going on Monday. Thank you for all the happy 200 wishes. Yeah. Corey Jones, what up, Houston? Where's the best place to take my kids to see harpy eagles? Don't know if you've ever seen them, but they're pretty awesome. Seen them, but they're pretty... harpy eagles. I am the worst. Eagles, to me, are just not crows. My best friend is the one who asked to ask. Oh, like the big old head poop things. Looks like you got to go to South America. They're a little bit in southern Mexico, throughout Central America, and you got to go south. It's like Brazil, Venezuela. It doesn't look like they have them in Ecuador, Colombia. Like decent sized bird. So, got to go somewhere in here. You got like Grenada. But pretty much all of Amazon, they're definitely a jungle bird. So wherever there's tropical jungle, except if you think more in Ecuador, because there's a lot of tropical jungle in Ecuador, but only was a little sliver of it. There you go. Marcel's here. Okay, let me go to Zoom. Gotta click on the Zoom itself. Wrong Zoom. There we go. Admit. That work? There he is. Okay. Wait for this to pop up here. Get working there, boss? It still says waiting to connect to audio. Oh. I hear baby.
Oh, yeah, that's my baby, all right.
All right.
How's it going, man?
Well, how are you?
Not bad at all, thanks. Just hanging out today.
So, yeah, you won't be able to see me because my camera is currently going through OBS, so...
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
I just want to say huge congratulations to you, my friend, on 200 episodes, man.
Thank you.
You, Houston. That is incredible, man.
It snuck up on me. I did not... I never imagined that I would be doing this.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I never had any intention whatsoever of doing anything like YouTube and the like. So
Yeah.
it's
Completely just like, and it really it throws off like what I'd normally be doing during the week. So, it's very like trying like I still don't have like a set schedule as to when I can do shows. And I know it drives all the people in the chat up the wall. I'm like, well, I'm gonna go live in 40 minutes, and they're like, "Gah."
I do the same thing, don't
Yeah.
give people the heads up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you mean. I got little issues keeping me from, maintaining a solid schedule on YouTube, but that's all right.
Yeah.
I think we've got more
Woo.
important things to attend to, like hungry little ones.
Yeah. Hey, buddy.
Home alone with one of my little ones today, so it
Yep.
has been a fun day.
Oh, it's all right. They can spend their time staring at a wall like my dogs do all the time. So
For sure. You know what? I was listening to you talk about the T90.
Yep.
What? Yeah, you don't like that one?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I heard a lot. I heard you talking about the T90 settlement date.
Yep.
I think a lot of people are still really confused as to what that means.
Yeah. So there's several rules at play. But the big ones are that lenders have the right to liquidate. So if you owe a payment in lieu, which is a dividend, and you don't remit that payment in lieu to your lender, they can liquidate you. And basically, like what we're seeing with Steve Cohen at 0.72, you go 90 days and you fail that margin for 90 days, they're going to take your stuff and sell it. And so, 90 days, yes. And so like if you are short on AMC and they offer a dividend share of APE, you are now short on AMC and APE. The difference is that APE is a dividend and you owe a remittance, a payment in lieu to whoever you borrow that stock from or whoever you create a naked short to. And the brokers, the prime brokers, and the lenders all have the right at the end of that 90 days go, you know what? You owe us. We need our stuff. Give it to us now. And if you don't, they can go to the broker and enforce a liquidation of everything you hold until you manage to pay back what you owe. So it's beautiful.
I wonder how many of them are going to forego on liquidating, on forcing that liquidation.
Yep.
And how many of them are actually going to be, forcing that to happen. I think just like you said, even if just one or two brokers decides that, they haven't received, there's been too many failures to deliver on the dividend and that they need to get them, it could cause just an absolute
and it's
domino effect there.
And if you are one of these brokers, hedge funds, institutions, mutual funds, and you are aware the DOJ is currently looking to RICO for all the collusion amongst these groups, like you aren't going to call up your buddies at another bank and be like, hey, are you guys gonna do a liquidation? Because if you guys do a liquidation, it means we have to do a liquidation. And like that right there is enough criminality that if the DOJ got any records of that, you're screwed. So I'd be very curious to see, like, you're going to be the first one to liquidate. You don't want to be the last one.
Speaking of RICO, don't you think that's why the fact that Florida is a homestead state might have a lot to do with the reason that Ken Griffin moved Citadel Securities and his now what is the most expensive home ever purchased in the state of Florida?
Exactly. He did a great timing on buying a $100 million home, as right as the market's about to fall off a cliff. But because I guess that's why O.J. Simpson moved to Florida, is that if there's a civil ruling against you, they can't take your home in Florida. So yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
Mama?
Ken Griffin's going to be calling for his mama pretty soon.
Yeah. So, yeah, and plus, it sounds like Ken Griffin's the largest contributor to DeSantis' campaign, so he's going to be protected by the state down there for sure. DeSantis will do what he can to keep Griffin from having folks come after him.
That the fact that Ken Griffin is offering to now be like on DeSantis's platform
Yeah.
and running together with him is just one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard.
Yeah.
That's akin to like Bernie Madoff, wanted to, run for president with George Bush Sr. or something like
Exactly.
that.
Let's have the most unpopular man in finance now be like the voice of the campaign. Doesn't really seem like the best PR you could possibly have. It's
Not at all.
no.
Not at all.
The chat is loving your little girl there.
She is having a good day.
Yeah.
Is home alone with dad all day, so mom's not around to yell at her and tell her what to do. So she's kind of got free reign of the house right now.
Perfect.
Yeah.
There you go.
See, yeah, she laughed too. She found that funny.
So the other day you made your big giant ape purchase.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I didn't get to watch that. How'd it go?
It was good. It was surprisingly quick. I bought about 8,000 shares of AMC and they filled instantaneously.
Yep.
And then I bought 3,777 shares of APE, and those filled in about 3 seconds. I direct routed them.
Yep.
Direct routed them through IEX.
Yep.
But even still, yeah, they did take a second. It did take a couple seconds for it to fill, but it filled. I was happy. It was like I'm down about $1 a share right now on AMC.
Yep.
And $1 a share on APE. So I'm pretty much losing or making $80 for every penny that the stock moves, which is pretty funny.
I know. You get to watch that like graph every day.
Yeah, I don't look at it very often. I look at it a couple times a day. I see what it's doing. Check out the chart, and then
I usually like take a look at about 11 a.m. West Coast time every day, because that's usually like if there's going to be any action on these meme stocks, it always seems to happen in that last couple hours of the day. And so if nothing's happening, I go, just ignore it. Don't look at it again.
Pre-market, I'm not gonna lie, I check it out every day. Pre-market,
oh yeah,
okay, it's not moving in pre-market, then it's probably gonna be a relatively calm day.
Yep.
That's the way I think.
It's those crazy weekends, like where Sunday night, where all of a sudden, like all the graphs have like big ups or big downs. All of a sudden, you're like, oh, what is going to happen Monday? And that's when I start to pay much more attention to the chart. Otherwise, I just try to keep it out of my head. It's like in August, I can't remember who published it. It was something I saw on one of the Reddit threads. It was about where the pain is for the hedge funds. And so they're saying at $16 or above, GME is a loss for the hedge funds. And at $23 and above, AMC is a loss for the hedge funds. So right now, since we had that big drop since the issuance of the dividend, the combined price of AMC APE is $13, somewhere around there. But the next big wave should put all those hedge funds back on notice again, because it doesn't take much to get it back up to the $23 combined for the two of those. And,
no, not at all.
Yeah,
not at all. That was a large amount of manipulation there.
Yeah.
I think that's the way that the collateral works between AMC1 and AMC and APE combined.
Yep.
I think as long as AMC1 maintains a certain level over $10 a share, the combined value of AMC and APE,
Yep.
I think that prevents the collateral haircuts that they would probably take on that against other short positions.
Yeah.
But even if that's not the case, it doesn't really matter, because if it's a dollar or two under that cap, it's only like a 10% haircut or 15% haircut.
Yeah.
So it's not impossible or improbable for the price to come down a little bit. It is just unlikely for it to come down a lot, I believe, judging by the fact that retail holds massive amounts of AMC and APE. So that being said, I'm looking at AMC1 right now as like the best thing since sliced bread. I don't know about you.
Yeah. Those are the options that you've been tinkering with?
Yeah, I've got nearly 2,000 call contracts for AMC1 right now for January 2023 at the $145 strike.
Whoa. Okay, so that's a big strike. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think a lot, and for those people that are unaware, AMC1 contracts are indicative of the underlying asset being both 100 shares of AMC and 100 shares of APE. So I've noticed that there's a big push by a lot of these broker dealers to kind of hide it. I
Yeah.
don't know if you've seen that at all, but it's very difficult to find um, AMC one options if you're not specifically looking for them or if
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
know where to look. For example, like Fidelity has them hidden under adjusted contracts.
Yep.
IBKR, Interactive Brokers, doesn't even let me buy them anymore. I had
Really?
to shift all my accounts around and my stuff to make it work. And now I'm just using IBKR mostly to buy shares because it's a non-margin account at the moment.
Yep.
So I'm only buying my shares on my cash accounts, and
That's
my
yeah.
margin
I
accounts
I
are
I I
only
have
for like
not used
hedge.
margins since this whole thing began, and
Yeah.
even then, like, uh, uh, if you have one of those gold or premium accounts and you happen to like not have the $5 to pay the monthly fee, they're like, you're over. We're gonna liquidate you. I'm like,
Yeah.
I owe you
Yeah.
$3.22. You can just take it from my bank account. I don't know what like. Like, I don't know why it's
Well,
so hard.
I thought that was really funny as well. The Friday before the dividend, uh, I had a margin account and they liquidated one of my AMC shares. I got pissed off, sold a contract of another security, and then bought back 2 shares of AMC so that I would get that twice just out of spite. Uh, I don't know. I guess for me, it was just like a small personal victory, on that one.
Oh, it's
Uh,
so goofy. Yeah,
well, that was
the
weird.
if I do think like if you're gonna play contracts, play the AMC one contract if you can get a hold of them. Simply because, especially if T90 plays true and Ape is the first thing to rocket, it's the only way you can have Ape uh, uh, calls. There's no other way to
Exactly.
get them. Yeah.
Well,
So
actually, Ape shares off
yeah,
based off of the calls,
yeah,
because like a lot of people say, we're like, oh, if there's no contracts of Ape. Sorry, excuse me 1 second.
that's all right.
A lot of people believe that if there's no contracts on Ape, that you can't get any calls, but you can technically because of this derivatives basket called AMC1,
Yep.
which was created for people like us that had call contracts of AMC to get the dividend as part of their calls.
Exactly, and there's leaps to go all the way into 2024. I think with those even.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yes, I believe so. You know what? One last thing I wanted to mention about those is uh, a lot of people are also kind of unaware as to the way gamma works
mm.
and the way that delta hedging works on 100 on deep out of the money call contracts. Would you be interested in explaining to people briefly what briefly, I said I
Yeah.
don't have to get the full detail, the way that call contracts are affected more so by deep out of the money strike purchases than in the money or close, or should I say close to the money strike purchases?
Okay, so there's a couple of ways that the options writers have to hedge. Uh, if if you're buying something that's pretty close to out of the money, which is usually where I play, like if I'm playing a short like looking maybe 3 weeks ahead, a month ahead, I'll buy something that's pretty close to in the money, or just out of the money. Simply
Mm-hmm.
because if you're dealing with a volatile stock, the likelihood of it passing past that is much greater than going to $145 or whatever, um, in that period of time. Uh, and so if you are delta hedging, which means the price is rising on the stock and getting closer to a whole bunch of options contracts going in the money. So the options house has to go out and make large purchases of the stock to make sure they have it on hand because they have the 2+2 um, closing that they've got to do when a contract gets executed. So um, so if they fail in that 2+2, it just rains hell on them, and they don't have the same ability as like a hedge fund selling naked to get to like T35 before they can do swaps and everything. They just don't. So if you have a stock that all of a sudden is rocketed, closes really high on a Friday, you're going to get your gamma squeeze on Monday, Tuesday, because they've got to make sure they can get enough shares to actually make good on the contract that they sold naked. Because believe me, they're selling almost everything naked. That's what they do. And uh, uh, if the price keeps going up as a result of that gamma squeeze on that Monday and Tuesday, then they got to start delta hedging for the Friday, and they got to buy a bunch more shares leading up to that Friday in case the stock is up again on that Friday, and you can get kind of a cycle going. Now, if you have a whole bunch of people buying a whole bunch of deep out of the money calls on a really volatile stock, this can cause the price of those calls to start to push up sort of I don't know how I would want to phrase this, like uh
Exponentially, violently.
violently is a good term, like sort of against the natural Greeks that would be in charge of that price, because now you have a bunch of demand happening. And if there's a big swing away from puts on that stock for a whole bunch of deep out of the money calls, that is a signal for the options makers that there's going to be a big volatile swing in that direction. And so they have to start picking up shares for stock, for in case the stock starts to have a big push of those near in the money calls being executed. So I don't know, is that a good way of doing it?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
really good way of explaining it.
Yeah.
Is the farther deep out of the money call contracts, when a lot of people are buying them, very similar to what happened to AMC and GameStop in January and June of 2021,
Yeah.
the more delta hedging that actually has to occur because of the greater risk of the over leveraging coming back to bite them in the ass, right?
Yeah, because the volatility ratings of these stocks are just bonkers. So because they just are on just a cycle, it's up and down, up and down, up and down. And so the options makers, if you're writing options for these stocks, you're almost guaranteeing a loss. if you think about it, I'm going to sell these suckers at $40 above the current market price, and you're selling it for pennies, and then the stock goes $20 above your strike price, you just lost a bunch of money. So they're very, very worried about deep out of the money calls actually ringing true. And if you are in, I don't know, let's say May 2021, no, May 2020, the stock price for GameStop is $2.57. And you have a bunch of weirdos from Reddit that all of a sudden bought, I bet I don't know how much, what the most expensive call option was then, but let's say it's $50. So you have a whole bunch of weirdos all dropped, $1 per call option at $50 for January 2021. And they're able to pick up thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of call options. And the options maker at the time were like, ha, free money, right? Look at these idiots buying all this stuff that's 10 months away on a stock that's a penny stock that should be delisted from the NASDAQ, right? And then you get to December 2020 and the stock price is at $20. And they're like, that's not good. And you get to, and it goes on the thresholds list on, what was it, like December 31st or something? Goes on the thresholds list. And all of a sudden, the stock price is $40. Stock price is $50. Stock price is $60. Stock price is $140. Stock price is $300. And you have all these folks all of a sudden executing a boatload of deep in the money calls that they purchased 10 months earlier for, let's face it, the sale of one share from that contract still nets you like $30,000 in profit per contract. So if you are an options writer in that situation, you're going to blink out of existence. So you have to start hedging a lot sooner for that type of situation, because the volatility rating on the stock is just means it's not an if but when.
Speaking of that, you want to hear something interesting?
Lay it on me.
We have been buying several hundred contracts per day of this AMC one for the last like 2 weeks now,
Hmm.
pretty heavily.
Yep.
Just we as in just people in general. I personally bought, I think, 300 contracts yesterday
Mm.
for 10 cents a piece,
Okay.
and I got an order in for 200 more contracts today, and we filled on them. And at the same time, the open interest is massive. The open interest is in the hundreds of thousands there.
Yeah.
It's over 110,000 on that single $145 strike price. Up until today, we have been having them fill. We have been having like large amounts of orders. Everyone that I've talked to, I should say, that has been pushing those through has had large amounts of orders being purchased, and those contracts have been filling. But today, as of this evening, I placed an order again for a couple hundred more contracts at noon, and as of close, it hadn't filled.
Hmm.
These were undoubtedly a little bit cheaper than usual, but
Yeah.
there was 270 something, 270-ish or so contracts on the actual bid, which were pretty much mine and other people that were
Yeah.
buying them, that we all knew how many we were buying. And there was only 7 people that had these 145s for sale at 14 cents. So the bid ask was split 9 cents to 14 cents, 270 to 14 to 7.
Yeah.
And it stayed that way all day,
Huh.
all afternoon for
That
three
means
hours,
nothing's
all the
getting
way into
written.
close.
Yeah.
Nothing's getting written. So what does
Yeah.
that tell you the market makers are or are not doing, brother?
Yeah. They're terrified.
They're not selling me
Yep.
those naked calls like they were a month ago
Yep.
or 2 months ago or 3 months ago. If I would put an order in at the bid, they would often come in and sell them to us, to retail,
Yep.
or other people would come down on their ask price. Therefore, retail is not bringing their ask price on those AMC one calls that they own, and the market makers aren't filling my calls, selling me naked calls at those prices either.
Yeah.
Nor are they adding more calls to sell even at the current bid of, I'm sorry, the current ask of 14 cents, meaning that they're not writing any more of these contracts, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's one of the most bullish things I've seen all year, to be honest with you.
Huh.
We couldn't fill on a couple simple contracts, whereas, even yesterday we were filling on them very slowly.
Yeah.
I'd get a few here, a few there, and you could tell they were coming from retail for the most part because there'd be 3 calls filled, 7 calls filled,
Exactly. Not
14
like
calls filled.
10,000 all at once from some Citadel or someone. Yeah.
Exactly. We're trying to buy, I was trying to buy 200-300 at a time,
Yep.
and they would just be trickling in very slowly, and we would be taking up almost the entire bid,
Yeah.
and the ask right there. So even coming in at the ask, I bought a few at the ask yesterday as well, and as soon as the ask was depleted, no more popped up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It went up to the next highest number, and retail didn't
Curious.
bring their prices down, and the market makers didn't sell them either.
Yeah. I do wonder, like, for those deep out of the monies, what are institutional holdings looking like for those calls? I'd be very curious to see, like, because a lot of what like Citadel seems to do is they like to push the liability onto the options makers. So they'll sell you naked
Yeah.
shares, and then they'll buy a whole bunch of calls and let those execute. Then all of a sudden, the nakedness all shifts to the options makers, and then the option makers go, "Oh my gosh, I got to buy shares." So Citadel sells them a whole bunch of naked shares to fulfill their options orders, and it's just a rubber cycle of that snake eating its own tail. I'd be very curious to see who of the big firms and funds are dipping their toes in these deep out of the money calls right now.
I don't know exactly about the institutions, but I think it's the best thing since sliced bread,
Yeah,
and too many retailers don't understand that options do provide some liquidity to market makers, but it is nothing when you compare it to the actual losses
yeah,
that they're liable to take here when they actually have to delta hedge for them. Because up until now, they've been doing something as simple as not hedging for them.
yeah.
But now that the ape dividend is out, there's no choice.
Hmm.
There's no choice. They're not selling us these naked calls anymore, these naked call contracts, and that must mean that they're not able to to deliver on enough ape shares to hedge against them.
Yeah, let me see if I can find. I want to look at the AMC1 options chain. I just want to see how much is out of the money here. It's AMC, and I don't want AMC. I want AMC1, buddy. Options chain.
Yeah.
Where? Show me AMC1.
You can't find it.
Yeah.
You can't find it. Sorry, on your broker, you'll find it. But say you go to like options profit calculator,
Yeah.
it doesn't exist.
Yeah, I can only get AMC. I cannot see AMC1 on any of NASDAQ, MarketBeat, Yahoo, options. Right. Yeah, it's not showing up on any of these. So I have no idea what the options chain is.
The fact of the matter is that you can't really tell. You can't really tell how much the contracts are actually going to be worth. It's going to be significantly higher than what any profit calculator will tell you, because if APE runs, the AMC1 contracts will run.
Yeah.
If AMC runs, those same contracts will run, and so on. And when people like you and I, particularly me specifically, because I can only speak for myself.
Yeah.
When my contracts start to make money, I will sell off a large portion of them, and I will exercise a significant portion of them to force the delivery of these phantom APE and AMC shares to my account.
Yeah.
So I think when that really happens, the majority, like you said, a lot of these market makers and short hedge funds are going to need absolute bailouts from the Fed and the government all over again.
The market makers might get it. The hedge funds, they'll probably blinked out of existence, and their prime broker will be who gets the bailout.
That's what I was thinking. You read my mind, bro.
Yeah, because the
short hedge funds are like the enemy now, according to Janet Yellen.
Yeah, and any hedge fund that goes under, I can guarantee you the DOJ is going to come after them, because as long as they're rich, the Department of Justice doesn't care. But if they lose a bunch of rich people their money, that's when the DOJ is going to be like, yeah, collusion, RICO charges. Like, they can lose us money all day long. The DOJ does not care about that. But if you are Bernie Madoff and you cost Kevin Bacon his entire life savings, that's when the Justice Department actually does their job. So, so if you're a hedge fund, you're playing with fire here, because we've got not just rich people that are members of hedge funds, because you have a $1 million minimum to join a hedge fund, but there's also a whole bunch of Russian mafia, nefarious dictators, cartel money. All these things get funneled through offshore accounts in the Caymans or British Virgin Islands or wherever, and then deposited into hedge funds. And so what's the guy's name from Casino Royale, Lafarge or whatever his name was, that was like the money manager, and he lost all the money for the African warlords? I think a lot of these hedge fund guys might see themselves hunted by some rather nefarious actors who entrusted them with a lot of their money through these offshore accounts. So the DOJ might be the least of their concerns sometimes.
Very similar to how Gabe Plotkin from Melvin Capital lost millions and millions of dollars of Michael Jordan's money.
Yeah. He lost $512 million something of Jordan's money in a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
$512 million.
Yep.
$500 million.
Yeah. All because they played golf together.
Isn't it fun how the way that golf can bring people together like that?
I know. Just,
like, oh yeah, I like golfing with you, man. I'll give you $500 million to invest for me.
I wonder if that, but Jordan does have a gambling problem, so I wonder if it was more like Plotkin was like, I'll bet you $1 billion investment in my hedge fund that I can get a birdie on this hole or something. And Jordan was like, okay.
It happened. Too bad for Michael.
Yep.
He'll get more money from Nikes,
exactly. He could be 100 years old. People will still be buying Jordan 90s or whatever, and he gets a little cut from that every single time. 1,000 years from now, and his 14th generation grandchildren will be getting huge checks from Nike on those things. FYI, Zoom just gave me the 10-minute warning. It's got 9 minutes, 14 seconds left before you blink out of existence.
Oh, it's cool.
Yeah.
I've got to get going soon here anyway.
Perfect.
Give me a rough time.
Oh, yeah.
So I will let you go. Next time I come on, I'll make sure it's a time when the wife's actually able to help me out with the kids.
That's okay. I'm glad you're going to stop by anyway. It's always fun.
Well, yeah, thanks for having me on for your episode number 200. That's absolutely
Woo!
epic, brother. Thanks
Ah,
so much.
thank
While you're
you.
at it, people keep asking you all sorts of questions here in the chat, man. So let's not
Oh,
leave them hanging.
yes.
I'll peace out of here. You guys have a great night. Thank you, Houston. You are the man.
All right, bud. Catch you later. Have a great one.
You too, bud.
Bye. Okay. All right. Back to Big Houston. There we go. Now I can have my helmet hair from have my headphones on for 40 minutes. Okay. Oh, did you guys think because I put the headphones down that I'm getting up from my chair? No, that's not happening. We've got another 50 minutes. That's right, big dog. Okay, so let me make sure I turn that sound off so in case I open up a website and ads start playing. Doesn't go. Oh, thanks so much for stopping by, Boss Blunts. It was lovely. And maybe just think about AMC 1 in a different way that I really hadn't been thinking about. And oh no, I think your hair is landing in my water. Ah, your hair is everywhere. You are a hairy, hairy animal. You are just so hairy. 3 more days. Thursday, Friday, you go home Saturday. Yeah, isn't that great? You have your own hair stuck in your mouth right now. Disgusting. Okay, so as a result of that, I'm now like an hour and a half behind in the chat. I think a super chat may have gone by while I was yik-yakking. Where are you? Oh, there we are. Vanilla Gorilla. We apes are the whale. Collectively, yes. We're like a violent school of piranha. That's what I see this as. At the minute that like cow hoof goes into the pool of water we're in, we're like, and we just debone it in no time and have ourselves just a great meal. That's what we're waiting for. We're just waiting for that stupid cow to trip and fall into our pond, and we'll just numb them right up. Right, monkey butt? Yeah. You having a good scratch over there, buddy? Get up on your bed. Get up there. Get up there. There you go. Yeah. Give everybody a shot of your good side. That's where it's at. And you keep your head off the keyboard. Okay. Okay, well there goes the reset of the chat, which means hey, look at that. I'm only 40 minutes behind in the chat now because it just cut off a whole bunch there. So, oh, there's some sort of political argument going on. We'll get past there. Vindicator, this isn't going to end with closings, it's going to end with liquidations. Yes, they will never, ever, ever voluntarily close a position. Had they done that, had they voluntarily closed a position, these hedge funds wouldn't be losing money like they have now. But they're like, any of you ever read Where the Red Fern Grows? Like when you're in like 5th grade about the kid who gets the 2 coon hounds and they hunt. In the book, they describe different ways of catching raccoons. And one of the ways is you have a hole in a log and you put 2 nails in there, something shiny at the bottom. And the raccoon sticks its hand in because it sees something shiny and it grabs it and it makes a fist. Well, when it makes a fist, its hand is suddenly wider than the hole and gets caught by the barbs you put in there. And the thing is that the raccoon will refuse to let go of the thing it caught. So it'll keep that fist and it will just be stuck. And you can come in and you can catch the sucker. I see the short selling of these hedge funds as kind of like that trap. Like the hedge fund has sold naked and they got their money. And all they have to do is just close their position and they can pull their hand out. But they refuse. And they just won't do it until they're forced to, which is the hunter comes along and goes club and skins the raccoon. They will never voluntarily do it. And for the last 30 years, they've been successful that way. But if you are the first hedge fund to come along and actually close positions, you may survive this. But they're never going to do it until they're forced to because they've never had to before. They're like, well, I just won't. And I've survived this far so long this far. Why would we organize that? But yeah, they won't do it until they're forced to. They just won't. So you're right, Vindicator. Password AMC GME total collapse happens after the holidays. Your thoughts? Depression incoming? I think it happens before. I think it happens before Thanksgiving, personally. I mean, look at the factors we got. We have home building essentially crawling to zero. We have a giant glut of very modern, very expensive warehouses that have been built all across this country because during the pandemic, everything was online. And people were like, I need warehouse space. I can't get any products. I need to be able to store things. I can't get stuff on demand. And so spec builders built huge amounts of warehouses in all these major metropolitan areas all over the country. And then you have commercial real estate collapsing. Why? Because people are working from home. If you don't have to commute, you're not going to commute. You're going to be like, well, I can go eat some food out of my fridge. I can go take the dog for a walk, come back, do some work. I don't need to go to the office. Going to the office sucks. And if you are, especially if you're a person of color, the stat was something like 95% of African Americans said if they were forced to come back to the office, they'd quit because they're just miserable. They're not having fun at the office. They have to put on a front, deal with a bunch of bullshit, and they don't want to do it. So you have a large portion of folks that just don't want to go back, which means you've got a whole bunch of leases that are going to expire because those office spaces aren't going to be used. Brick and mortar retail struggling like crazy. So you've got strip malls and malls themselves and other retail spots are doomed. So you're in the US, those three aspects of real estate, home, commercial, and industrial, all falling. Construction's halting. They can't get leases. They can't do sales. They're screwed. Prices are dropped 7 months in a row on home prices. And then you look internationally. Internationally, we've got a huge energy crisis in Europe, where Europe is going to be 100 billion cubic meters, 150 billion cubic meters short of what they need to keep everybody warm during the winter. Prices are going through the roof. Diesel, you might see gas prices fall, but you notice diesel prices are not falling at all. This is largely because a lot of the vehicles in Europe run on diesel. And to make diesel low sulfur takes a lot of natural gas during the distillation process. The natural gas gets pumped through and it takes the sulfur off of the diesel distillate. And that's how you make a low sulfur diesel. And the only two countries that produce a natural low sulfur crude oil are Angola and Nigeria. And they do not have the infrastructure available to produce more oil than they're producing right now. They're producing as much as they can, and that's it. So the demand for low sulfur diesel is still there, but there's no way to actually make it. So you got this energy crisis happening in Europe. You got Putin basically saying, hey, if you invade my territory, I'm going to use my nukes. I'm not bluffing. And then he's trying to make eastern Ukraine part of his territory so that if Ukraine goes in to free their own country, the Putin says, well, you invaded my country and now I can blow you up with my nukes, which would not do well for your global economy. And you got the Chinese economy collapsing big time. They built way too many houses and way too many useless houses, and no one has the money to continue to buy those things. The population is shrinking. By 2050, they're expected to have half the population they have now. That's only 30 years away. They're at 1.2 billion, they're expected to be at 600 million by 2050. So now they're going to have a glut of really cheap housing all over China that's essentially empty because people just aren't making kids anymore. You have 700,000 homes in Canada that are adjustable rate mortgages have reset. You have most of the homes in Australia are adjustable mortgages, and they're resetting. And they're resetting to the highest interest rates we've had in over a decade. So no one can afford the payments on these things. This stuff is going to crash before Christmas. And then we're going to see that the Christmas season numbers are much lower than they were in previous years. And that's going to push everything else down. And then the Q4 reports are going to come out in January and February about how poorly everyone did in Q4 when they're supposed to make all their profit for the year, and that's going to make the bottom probably come sometime in March. So that's looking at my crystal ball, my crystal baseball, and I'm seeing, March, maybe April as the absolute bottom of the market, but the crash begins in 7-8 weeks before Thanksgiving. That's what I'm seeing. Space Monkey, happy birthday and happy 200. I've personally enjoyed every show, even if we disagree. I'm glad I got to be here from the start. You're a good egg. Well, thank you, Space Monkey. I love arguing with you too. Brings a certain joy to my life. Thank you. I love the fact there's 500 of you hanging out here, having a great time in afternoon, evening. I love you guys. You guys are so great. Even, I think I managed to distill the chat down into a group of just good people. The other night when my roommate popped on to tell me we're going to watch Mission Impossible, he hung out and he watched it for a while, and he was like, the people in your chat are just like the coolest. They're funny and they're nice and they're curious and they make good observations. And it's true. You guys are like what make the show. If you didn't give me things to talk about, then I would just be, I don't know, I'd start going through PowerPoints for my classes I have. And that'll be the show. Like, okay, we'll go to the next slide here. This right here is what we have when we are looking at the core of a star as it's starting to make a carbon core or whatever. And you guys be stuck with that. So, no, this is largely due to you folks being as rad as possible. And I greatly appreciate it. So does the monkey butt. She appreciates it. She appreciates that I come and stare at a wall for 2 hours a day, several times a week, and just am a stream of consciousness for her. She loves it. Absolutely loves it. That's why when I put the headphones down, she was like, "Are we leaving?" Okay. Okay. Looks like we are to where Boss Blunts is able to come on. Mario Valdez, Houston, have you ever been to Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta? World's largest hot air balloon fiesta, bringing people together from all over the world. I've been to Albuquerque. I have not been during the Balloon Fest, although I went through there. It was summertime. I think it was when my sister and I were doing a road trip across the country when she was reporting for duty to the Navy in like 98. And we went through and it was hot as hell. And there were actually balloons going, which I was like, so hot. How the hell are they even getting lift? Like, I don't know, but there were balloons going. It was not a festival though. I think the festival's in the wintertime, isn't it? But I've not been there for the festival. I was dating a girl in New Mexico for a while, but she dumped me before the festival, so I never had a chance to go down there for that. But Sad Boy Incorporated, Houston, I bought 200 of LICN, and tomorrow is the last day to pre-order shares. I think it's a squeeze, like previous Chinese stocks. Thought when moon. Did you get them through Webull? I can't. I've heard people be able to pre-order LICN through Webull, but I have not been able to get them. I can search like on Fidelity, and it says it exists. When I click on it, there's no page whatsoever, so I can't pre-order. So yeah, you're saying yes. All right. So apparently you can pre-order LICN through Webull. I don't have a Webull account, but maybe I'll make one tonight and see what I can get. But Webull, I think, is owned by a Hong Kong company, so maybe that's why they've got a little easier access to getting that. Everyone else, I don't know. But I wonder if they will actually launch on Friday. They've been postponed, and I have the feeling that they keep getting postponed because the underwriters have learned what is causing these squeezes, which is the Chinese never deliver the shares. And so they're like, you have the shares for us yet? Nope, we're postponing the launch. You have the shares for us yet? Nope, we're postponing the launch. So I'd be really interested to see what happens Friday. Yes. Oh, shoot. Oh, no, now I'm seeing people are saying boss was quiet. Oh, no. Hope you guys could hear him. All right. And now they're all saying she's very cute. Well, I guys hope you could hear him. It was great to have him on. Daniel Huck, this is awesome. Both my favorite apes. My dog Bella. Oh, there she is. There's Bella. She looks like such a happy, good dog. Such a happy, good dog right there. You guys are amazing. Help me keep holding. You guys make a difference. Keep doing what you're doing. Well, I'm glad, Daniel, and thank you. Thank you for being here, and all of you. All 500 of you weirdos that come hang out. Oh Lord, my cat's breath just by knocking me unconscious. Well, don't breathe your cat's breath. That's a simple solution right there. Cloud9, I've got leaps in AMC out till 2024 with strikes at 5 and 12, and I've been buying up ape. Well, there you go. And I think a good thing to look for is what we're talking about, the apes, the AMC 1 calls, because those are 100 AMCs and 100 apes. It's the only way you can get options on ape shares. So I might do some searching on Fidelity and see if I can pick up any deep out of the money ones, just to, for 10, 14 bucks to get an option on one of those. Why not, right? Especially if things go nuts in November. That's plenty of time to deal with that. Broja's son, nobody should be using margin unless they're pro. Yeah. You don't want to be like all those crypto bros who lost everything back in April and May. We had dudes that had like $75 million in Luna, right? They have $75 million in Luna. All of it was used as collateral on margin to make other plays. So they are taking their $75 million. $75 million. If you have $75 million, put that sucker into a Vanguard and check out. Don't touch it. Just be like, I'm done. I'm going to live in my mansion, drive my fancy cars, and go on vacation for the rest of my life. Do that. They took $75 million in their Luna. They put it as collateral into a margin account. They then had $750 million, $1 billion, $2 billion, they had billions of dollars that they could use on margin to make plays into other cryptos, right? Well, what happened? One crypto goes doink, and you can see every single graph for the entire chart does the same exact thing for crypto. If Bitcoin does this, Ethereum does this, and then Luna does this, and then XRP does this, and Sol does this, and Morano and Monero, whatever. They all do the exact same thing. So you have all of your plays in crypto drop, your assets drop, and then you get margin called across the board, liquidated for the, $100 million in losses you had on your $1 billion of margin you played with, and now you got nothing. Zero. Zip, zilch, nada. De nada. It's gone. They may give you like 30x, 100x, or whatever in margin in crypto. Do not use it. Do not, man. Don't use it all. It'll be gone. Just, you have $75 million in one of these things, cash out 70 million of it. Put 70 million not in Luna anymore, into a Vanguard fund or something that's making annuities, and maybe play with the 5 million, right? Because just with annuities alone, you're gonna be making $5 million a year plus with your Vanguard fund. Cool. Now you got 5 million to lose to the crypto market after this. Just if You have $75 million or something. Just get out. Enjoy your life. Live your best life, man. You don't need to work anymore. So don't. just just don't, man. Okay. Where am I going? Where am I going? All right, 6 o'clock, a half an hour left. I think I'll go help my dad move the picnic table for the season. And then go to the gym. Josh Hornall, when is T plus 90 supposed to go into effect? November 19th? 22nd? What was the date that the Ape shares got released? Was that August 22nd? Or was it 19th? 19th might have been the date of record. I can't remember. November 22nd. Somewhere in there. I think that's around when that is. Tyler English, what's up, Professor? The opposite of down. Tyler, thank you. Congrats on the tuna show. Yogi212, does it matter if Ape gets delisted? Shareholders still have a right to it and could hold it off exchange. Yeah, it would just be an OTC stock. So in your trading apps, you wouldn't be able to deal with it because they don't have OTC privileges. But if you're in Fidelity or Schwab or TD or something, you can still trade OTC, so it wouldn't really make much difference to you. Sorry, I apologize that the volume was low on the Butcher. I think when I had Jackson on the other day, his volume was really high and I turned it down, and then there we are. Sorry about that. I apologize. Next time, look at the chat. Make sure everyone can hear what's going on. Houston. Whoop. Oh, did I miss Jimmy D chat? I don't know. It's somewhere in there. I've got calls on show 500. 500. So it took me, when did I start? May of last year. So it's 12, 15 months? No, 16 months to do 200 shows. So it'll be at 400 shows in another year and a half. So 2 years. About 2 years to get to show 500. Okay, 2 more years. We'll be at show 500. You ready for that, monkey? She says yes with her butt. Silhouette, have you seen Citadel's YouTube video? They have a lot of younger people working for them, so you know a couple of them are here right now. I bet there's a lot of them that pop into these things and watch us because that's what they do. I'm very curious, like, are there apes that were in business school, finance school, whatever, economics, physics, applied mathematics, who are fully aware of what's going on, and then they got a job with Citadel or Goldman or someone knowing what's going on, specifically to get to a role where they are trusted and they can turn state's evidence and whistleblower and get a payday. Are you out there? Just nod your head. If give me a wink in chat if there's a couple of you out there. I bet there is. I mean, it's a great way to make like $5 million from the gov. Whistleblower gets rewarded. Yeah, man. Okay, everybody, choose the greatest movie of all time: Shawshank Redemption or Xanadu. May Olivia Newton-John rest in peace. I would get. What's the Sean Connery movie where he's in the thing? Uh, not Zoltar. That's from Big. Uh, I get Xanadu and Zort. Crap. Sean Connery. Zardoz. There we go. I get Zardoz and Xanadu mixed up in my head all the time. So people talk about like Olivia Newton-John being in Zardoz, and it's like, I don't remember her in Zardoz. But then people talk about yeah, I'll get this thing confused all the time. What time is it for you? It is 6:06 p.m. over here. Ryan Charles in there, and were partners in the Charlotte Hornets. I'll talk about Plotkin and Michael Jordan. Yeah. And Ronaldo Cappy 200th Houston is cool. Learned so much about so much. Well, thank you. Yes. Oh, someone's emerging from the room. Oh, crud. And that just, where did that go? Sorry, I just lost my spot in the chat. There it is. Okay. Found it again. And okay, now we're at the part where Boss Blunts wandered away. There we go. Aaron Salentine, Houston AVCT went up 30% after hours. The buying getting closer to $8 a share. Microsoft announcement came out. Wait, Microsoft made the announcement that they were doing that? Microsoft AVCT. Sorry, doing a quick. Nothing in the news, just rumors so far. Okay. All right. Yeah. AVCT sounds like something's going to be real interesting here. But the rumor mill alone is pushing it up enough. Yeah. Carlton, are you related to John Berta? No, I am not. Gardner Wade is who I'm related to. Hey, little dog. How are you? Your ears are so soft. I wish my ears were that soft. I would pet them all the time. I would just pet my own ears constantly. Georgia Hurd, who's the famous doggo next to you? This is Bella. She's Daniel's puppy dog who passed away this summer. So it's a memoriam for her for today. And so it's got the space to put Bella up there. And it's such a good picture of her. Just happy. I love the one ear down thing. Monkey Butt does that to me all the time. Right? 1 ear up, 1 ear down. Yeah. Picklepotamus, I don't know how to close a short position at this point. I'm too afraid to ask. Frozen State Productions, how do you explain ghosts and other spirits? Females in my family insist there's a spirit living in my basement. Okay. Let's just think about spirits for a moment. You suddenly become a spirit, right? Where are you going? You can go anywhere. You're ethereal. Nothing can contain you. You can wander around. You can go all over the place. Are you going to hang out in your basement? Or are you going to go see the globe? See the interesting things you were able to before because you can float anywhere. You are a ball of ectoplasm. You don't need You don't need the confines of anything, right? And why would they be stuck in your basement? That's yeah. Also, you got your ghost shows, right? Your ghost hunters and all those things. Every single episode for 20 plus seasons, they've never found a ghost. Not once. Not one ghost in 20 years have they found. They're always like, oh, you hear that? See that? What was that over there? It's really cold in here. But they never actually see a ghost. And never do they go to location and they're like, yeah, there's no ghost here. No. Because that'd be like, why does every place have a ghost? Why? Why would every place have a ghost out there somewhere? I don't know. I think the whole ascribing places as being haunted really takes agency away from the spirit world. If I were a spirit, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not going to hang out in this basement condo anymore. I'm going to go see the world and do all the things I wanted to do, because what are you going to do about it? Nothing, right? So that's my take on the whole spirit ghost thing, is that ghosts wouldn't be hanging out in creepy places. They'd be just going wherever they want to go. Citizen 54, Houston, follow-up question. If Kenny becomes treasurer, what does this mean for MOAS? Can he stop it? No, because I think it's going to happen well before 2024. So, I don't think the economy has the legs in it to last until 2024. I think everybody knows that it's kaput. It's done by then. And that might be a way for him to possibly avoid prison, as if he became treasurer. But Treasury Secretary. But, I mean, they're being investigated for RICO and things like that right now. I don't foresee him lasting that long. Houston, Wahheap Hoodoo's Trailhead. So we got some rocks on cliffs. Where's my Google Earth? There it is. Oh, come back. There we go. In Utah. Oh, because we're not going there, we can go here. Give us the deets. I've not been to the trailhead here. Next to a wash. Where are we? Is that Nipple Creek? Is that what it's called? Nipple Creek. That's much more interesting to me, is that there's Nipple Creek. Hello, Nipple Creek. What do you got going on here? You look like a road, not a creek, but probably a dry wash that's been turned into a road. Okay, so we've got some, look like fish ponds, aquaculture here, perhaps. So we got some aquaculture, probably growing some desert tilapia. Where are the hoodoos? Where am I? Near Capitol Reef? I wasn't actually paying attention. Oh, Bryce Canyon's, okay, Capitol Reef's up north. So we're a little south of Bryce Canyon. Escalante Boulder, right on the border with Arizona. I have not been to this. I've been a little bit on this side of the lake, but I've not been through here yet. Big water. I don't know. Give us the deets. Looks like we have Navajo sandstone, and we've got was it Cadena sandstone, the grayish stuff. That's all I can tell. There is a layer, I think it's between the Navajo and Cadena, that has uranium. So right in this border area, right in there, that kind of grayish pink stuff, I think that is uranium deposits. It's uranium-rich asphalt. You can mine uranium out of there. But beyond that, I don't know. That's all I got, baby. That's all I got. Hope that's enough for you. Biff Johnson, welcome. Glad boss sent you over. Welcome. Welcome all. Welcome all. Well, we got 15 minutes of me welcoming you here. Oh, Big Dog, you just drooled all over me, man. You gonna take your giant head and just, back up. Just back up a little bit. There we go. Okay, I'll scratch your head. Just don't put your drool on my lap, please. Okay. S3's here. Welcome. Lindsay M. and your best, Houston. Thank you for the knowledge you share. Thank you. Persia Sun, the chat crowd is so good here. Big ups to the ones making it fun and interesting. It's true. You guys make it worthwhile. And once I took the advice to get the trolls out of here from making me pissed off all the time, it's been so much happier. So, yeah. SFG Champ 23. When do you see AMC finally melting up? Next year? If Ape goes bonkers in November, it'll melt up with it. So, Demetrius, it's almost 4 a.m. here in Cypress, Houston. Join the show. Can you please explain why low volume is good for GME, and maybe what is the ideal number for a rocket to have liftoff? Well, I think GME's low volume, a lot of it is fake, because like 70 to 80% of trades are going through dark pools right now. So if you see a volume of 4 million, that means the volume was actually 12 million or 16 million. Because a lot of that volume is being pushed through these dark pools, and we're not seeing it in the actual, volume metrics. It also means that low amount of trades through lit exchanges can push the price one way or the other much more easily. We've seen low volume stocks have crazy jumps. The most famous example is last fall. We had single trades of fractional shares of Berkshire Hathaway caused the stock price to go up 50% in after hours. So all you need is one seller and one buyer to agree on something, and all of a sudden the stock has moved. And so yeah, that low volume can really be to our advantage at that point. Damiza presents. Do you see a massive short covering coming soon? How bad does it have to get before they are forced to cover? Well, they're never forced to cover. They're forced to close. Covering is their option to avoid being forced to close, and covering happens in many different ways. Some is they buy a whole bunch of call options. So they buy a bunch of call options. A lot of them could be, or puts. They buy a whole bunch of these options, and they are probably deep out of the money. They go, see, I've got the availability to get these shares if I need to, and then their lenders go, oh, okay. Or they do a debt swap. They'll trade their bad debt with someone else's bad debt, and then it just resets again and becomes someone else's problem. But they won't actually go out and physically buy a share and return it to their lender or to the brokerage who they sold naked shares through or whatever to close a position unless they're literally forced to. And the last time we got word of someone being forced to close positions was essentially Archegos a year and a half ago when they went under on their shorts on Discovery. So when the forced buying starts to happen, you'll see the price go nuts. And we've not seen the forced buying yet. We've seen some limited amounts of forced buying for T+2s, T35s didn't make it to the swaps market, but it's not the you must close all of your shares right now or else we're going to like hang your assets under management. That's the stuff we're waiting for. Oh yes, breathing heavy. Yes, happy dog. Brandon T, sorry. Houston, we know what endgame looks like for us with our GME positions, but what about economy in general? Where do we see housing, food, inflation going post-crash MOAS? Well, housing prices, car companies, general trade, gold, up, silver up. Luxury goods might be a mixed bag on this one, because I think a lot of people are going to lose their shirt in this coming downturn. Normally they're fairly well insulated, but where they put their money is like the most risky stuff, which happens to be these hedge funds. Inflation will get its biggest help from the fact that when the economy drops, gas prices drop with it, because people stop traveling. They don't, not as much trade going on. They're not going on vacation. So the excess use of gasoline disappears. Plus people are working from home more. So their option to not have to commute to work gets a little bit better. Remember, August 04, gas prices over $4 a gallon. March 09, gas prices are like $1.25. So they just collapse big time. That may be augmented a bit with the European energy crisis. They may have to go out and buy more fuel elsewhere to keep warm. So that may keep prices buoyed for a while. But then housing prices are going to drop big time. The rental market's going to ease. And I think that part of inflation will kind of be limited. They'll take that, shave that part off of the inflation counter. Yeah. Binghamton, New York has a Speedy Fest balloon rally every summer. Is that like a balloon race? You gotta just like race your balloon in the wind and hope you get to wherever you're going. They got good thermals. Like all those places with these balloon things, they must have really good thermals to be able to like have the balloons go out and come back. Otherwise, you're just drifting until you're done drifting. Learn how to read those thermals, become a balloon pilot. Different line, Houston. Losing $75 million in crypto is something I don't think I mentally ever come back from. Yeah, just if you have $75 million in crypto, get out. Take 90% of it and just get out. Go sit in a hammock. That's what you need to do. Okay. BW, I have 4 brokerage accounts, none offer AMC1. Where is this glorious unicorn ticker? That is... Yeah. I'll have to look on my Fidelity and see if I can get AMC1 popping up, because I haven't bothered looking for it. Danny Young, Houston Still a Star, my favorite AMC hype video. Thank you. It was weird to see myself made into like 1,000 different rock music videos. that was the weirdest part of this whole thing. Is like someone sends to me, I'm like, "Is that you?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's me in a rock and roll music video with a whole bunch of Planet of the Apes characters." Okay. Burgess Houston, familiar with thoughts on Chang Sate why China is the second country to find a new mineral on the moon? I mean, I don't know much about it, but I'm sure we'll find lots of weird minerals on the moon once we start doing more exploration there. The ability of where we landed on the moon and the type of rock environments we were in kind of limited what rocks we could pull from stuff. Since we've mapped the moon under all sorts of different colors of wavelengths of light, we've realized there's probably more mineralized areas there than we originally attributed. And a lot of the minerals on the moon are the result of the fact that the moon is likely blasted out of the crust of the Earth. So a big Mars-sized planet early on in our planetary development smacked into the Earth and blasted out a bunch of goo. And that goo coalesced into the moon, which is why the moon's density is the density of our crust and not like of deeper parts of the Earth that are much more dense. And so whatever mineralization was happening in early Earth might have been exasperated by the reconstitution of that material up in space as the moon as we know it. So Big dog, small dog. And I'll be curious to see what else we find up there. Oh, you reset in chat? Always resetting. Well, I've got 5 minutes left anyway, so I might as well get down here. Zach D, how can we be sure that shorted stocks will moon when the market shits the bed finally? Can the government or DTC just stop MOAS? They may try, but it's when you're trading on margin, which these short hedge funds do. The short hedge funds, they get their money from rich people. They say, rich people, give me money, I'm making a hedge fund. Rich people go, okay, you're at my golf club, so here's a check for $10 million or whatever. So they collect a whole bunch of these checks. They go out and they buy government bonds. They go out and they buy blue chip stocks, and that's their assets under management. That's the ballast to their ship they run. And then they take out huge loans, up to 30 times the value of those assets under management, to make their short plays. So these short trades, shorting stocks, whatever. And so they'll use that margin, borrow a bunch of stock, sell it, create naked shares, whatever it is they do. And so this 30-to-1 liability is what they're allowed, and some of them get all the way up to that 30-to-1. And if they cross over now 31-to-1 or so on, they get margin call, which means they have to either close positions, right, get that sucker back down below 30-to-1, or they have to increase assets or cash on hand to be able to have a larger denominator to make sure it's no longer 30-to-1. So if these assets collapse as a result of the market going right, then their assets shrink, which means these liabilities that were 30-to-1 all of a sudden might be 40-to-1. And then they're going to face margin calls. And if it's during a time in the economy when it's really, really hard to generate more cash because there's a liquidity crunch, because banks have to provide more capital, because the ISDA is forcing people to have more collateral for margin, because money is just not available because the economy is collapsing and no one has anything to play with, then your prime broker only option may be to close what positions you have, use that cash to close the short positions you have. And so if they liquidate these assets under management, that means the price in the market is going to drop because they just dumped 20, 30, 40 billion dollars of securities on the market to go sell. So those prices all drop because there's now too many of them being offered. And then you got to go close these short positions because they're now liabilities for the prime broker. The prime broker's got to get them off their books. And that means the price on whatever the short positions are will rocket. And that's basically where we are, is that if you are invested in a shorted stock, you're essentially hedging against the market collapsing. Because the market collapsing means those hedge funds have to liquidate, and they got to close the positions on the stocks you own. And that's kind of the thesis we're sitting on right now. Natsuka Hirabayashi, all short hedge funds are extremely green in 2022, especially on meme stocks. You should be more honest with subs, don't sell hopium. Hedge funds are like down 50% on the year, bud. I don't know what you're talking about there. We can show you that right now. Hedge fund losses 2022. Okay, hedge fund managers, especially larger ones. Oh, sorry. Let's get this to the point where you can see what's going on. Have proved their prowess during worst markets. S&P 500 lost 20% the first 6 months of 22. Worst mid-year performance over half century. Investors grow frustrated with hedge funds after historic losses. Funds were down 5.6% on average. Yeah, they're losing money. Hedge fund industry loses 4% in June. August 1st, 12 months forward aggregate sits minus 2.4%. They're losing money. They're losing money, man. They're not making money on any of this stuff. So, yeah. They're not making money. They're losing just like everybody else, and their liabilities are huge. Absolutely huge. Nuclear MOAS would literally save the U.S. economy because we'd all go and spend the greedy folks' money. I mean, that's true. We will finally drive a nice car and live in a nice house and do those things. But remember, put some away. Don't spend it all. Put some away so that you can enjoy your vacations 10 years from now and all that jazz. Just find a nice index fund, dividend stocks, whatever. And just make sure that you got steady income rolling in after that. Kirk Wilson, congratulations, brother. Your immense knowledge and positive attitude is inspiration. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, shit, 6:30. I gotta go. I gotta help my dad move this furniture. And, yeah. I'll see you Friday. I don't yet know if Friday will be a daytime show or an evening show. I think daytime is what we'll be able to do on Friday. But I'll see you folks then. Thank you so much for joining me. Thanks, Boss Blunts, for stopping by and having a chit-chat with us and wrinkling some brains. I want to thank all of you guys for just hanging out with me so often and doing this with me. It's been the weirdest, most fun curveball in my life. So I want to thank you all for being part of this. And show 201 comes on Friday. If the guy who was originally supposed to have the spot for today didn't get me something to print out in time, so if he doesn't get me one Friday, well, you'll see Bella again on Friday. So there you go. All right. Thanks so much, everybody, and I'll Monkey Butt and Big Dog and I will catch you on Friday. And enjoy your day. Hope you get nice weather like I do out here, and take care of yourself and each other. All right, later.